The old clock above the counter ticked past 11:47 p.m. Rain drizzled against the glass windows of Maggie's roadside diner, the kind of place where tired travelers found warmth and coffee thick enough to hide their loneliness. The neon sign outside flickered weakly, open 24 hours, casting a trembling red glow on the wet asphalt. At a corner booth sat Sarah, her waitress uniform wrinkled, her eyes heavy with fatigue. She wiped down the same spot on the counter for the 5th time, though no one was watching. Every few minutes, she glanced at her cracked phone screen, where a picture of a smiling little girl stared back. Lily, 6 years old, missing 2 front teeth, her golden hair tied in crooked pigtails. Sarah's stomach twisted as she thought about the near-empty fridge at home. Her paycheck wouldn't come until next week. She'd skip dinner so Lily could eat the last bowl of macaroni. The image of her daughter's sleepy voice replayed in her mind. "Mommy, when's your day off? Before we continue, if you've ever struggled but still put family first, this story is for you." Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Kindness to Heart for more stories that remind us why compassion matters. Now let's step into Sarah's world. The door jingled open. A gust of cold air swept in, carrying the sharp scent of gasoline and wet leather. A man walked in, a biker, tall and broad-shouldered, his face hidden under a worn helmet and a scruffy beard. His heavy boots thudded on the linoleum floor as he took a seat at the far end of the counter. His black jacket bore faded patches, ghosts of a life once wild. Sarah stiffened. She'd seen men like him before, loud, impatient, sometimes mean. But he didn't say a word. He just looked tired, lost. "What'll it be?" she asked softly. He looked up, his eyes a mix of steel and sorrow. "Just coffee, black." As she poured his cup, he caught sight of the photo taped to her order pad. "Your kid?" Sarah nodded, her voice fragile. "Yeah. Lily. She's my whole world." The man stared at the cup, his fingers tracing the rim. "You're lucky," he said quietly. "My little girl would have been about her age." Sarah's breath caught. There was a silence heavy enough to drown in. She wanted to ask, but something in his face, those eyes clouded with regret, told her not to. Over the next hour, he ordered a plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs, but barely touched it. He sat in silence, sipping his coffee as the rain softened outside. Sarah moved between tables, stealing glances at him. Something about his stillness unnerved her, like a storm waiting for its last thunder. When he finally stood, he pulled a wad of cash from his jacket and placed it beside the untouched plate. "Keep the change." Sarah hesitated. "Sir, you didn't eat." He cut her off gently. "Wasn't hungry." Then he paused, glancing at the food. "Mind if I take the leftovers?" Her brow furrowed. "Of course you can. Want me to wrap them up?" He shook his head. "Not for me." He looked away, voice trembling. "For my daughter. Wherever she is, I just like to think she'd still want breakfast." A lump formed in Sarah's throat. I'm sorry," he nodded, eyes glistening under the diner lights. "You don't have to be. Just tell your little girl she's lucky to have you." As he turned to leave, Sarah stopped him. "Wait." She ran to the kitchen, packed a small box with everything she could, pancakes, fries, even a slice of pie. "Take this," she said, handing it to him. "If not for her, then for you. Nobody should eat alone tonight." The biker stared at the box, then at her. His lips trembled as he whispered, "You remind me of my wife, before I messed everything up." And with that, he walked out into the rain, the sound of his motorcycle fading into the night. Sarah stood by the door long after he left, her reflection blurred in the glass. She didn't know why, but she whispered into the empty diner, "Whoever you are, I hope you find peace." Outside, the neon sign flickered again, open 24 hours, like a heartbeat refusing to stop. 2 weeks later, the diner buzzed with morning chatter. Sarah was pouring coffee for the regulars when a commotion stirred outside. Through the window, she saw a group of bikers parking their motorcycles in a neat row. Her chest tightened. They walked in, 6 of them, leather jackets, tattoos, rough faces softened by road dust. At the center was him, the same man from that rainy night. But this time, he looked different, cleaner, lighter. The heavy shadow that once clung to him seemed to have lifted. "Morning, ma'am," he said with a small smile. Sarah blinked in surprise. "You came back?" "Yeah." He looked around the diner, eyes softening. "I owed someone a thank you." She smiled awkwardly. "For the leftovers?" He chuckled. "No, for reminding me I still had something to live for." He sat at the counter, the other bikers quietly ordering food. Sarah noticed his jacket now had a new patch stitched over the old one. It read, "Ride for Lily." She froze. "That's your daughter's name?" He nodded. "Was. She passed 3 years ago. Drunk driver." His voice cracked, but he kept his eyes steady. "I blame myself. I was on the road, too busy running from my own mess. My wife left and I lost myself. Been living like a ghost ever since." Sarah felt her throat tighten. "I'm so sorry," he smiled faintly. "You don't have to be. That night, when you packed that food, I sat by the highway eating it. For the first time in years, I prayed. Not for her to come back, but for a chance to be the kind of man she'd be proud of." He reached into his pocket and placed a small stuffed bunny on the counter. Its fur faded, one ear torn. "This was hers. I used to keep it in my saddlebag for luck. I think she'd want your little girl to have it." Sarah's eyes flooded. I can't accept this." "You can," he said gently, "because you gave me something first, a reason to stop running." The diner went quiet. Even the sizzling grill seemed to pause. Then, without a word, Sarah hugged him. It wasn't awkward. It was raw, human, healing. Outside, sunlight broke through the clouds, spilling gold across the rain-streaked windows. As he left with his group, he turned back and said, "Tell your daughter, some angels ride motorcycles." Sarah smiled through tears. "And some waitresses save souls." That night, Sarah came home and found Lily playing with the little bunny, whispering to it as if it could hear. "Mommy," she said softly, "this bunny smells like rain." Sarah knelt beside her, kissed her forehead, and whispered, "Maybe that's because it's been through a storm." Lily smiled. "Like us?" Sarah nodded, her heart swelling. "Exactly like us." The camera would fade on the image of the bunny sitting by the window, sunlight warming its worn fur, a symbol of second chances, of pain turned into kindness. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with someone who believes in second chances. Subscribe to Kindness to Heart for more real, emotional stories about compassion and redemption.